tell my friends stand by me only if I'm right. I come out in triple darkness just to see the light. If I say it once, I guarantee I say it twice. If they want me, I ain't going out without a fight. In my dreams, I'm a killer, but for God, man. Try to play it cool, but it's getting hard, man. Rolling with the real and death to all the frauds, man. Not too many on me, yeah, it's kinda hard, man. In my room, sitting in my room. Know they waiting on me and I'm coming soon. Never been a sellout, never been a coon. Y'all be on the camera acting like I'ma show them how I drew it.
Here's what I will say though, and here's what I have said. I don't care who you dating, especially if it's interracial, because that's when it's an issue. Here's what I don't want you to do. You going over there to meet her folks or be around her family, and now you trying to play what I call super nigga. Oh, I'm just a perfect guy, and I'm not like the rest of those blacks. You know, like don't you be on none of that.
So brothers, we got some depth to get into today in this topic. One that is very popular, one that's also potentially divisive, I would say, controversial, if you will, and the topic of interracial dating. Interracial dating. And I guess all of us are black in the black community, with our sons, with other folks' sons. And in terms of that, you know, I don't know where public opinion sits right now. There's a lot of controversy about people complaining about a lot of professional athletes get to the stage where they're about to earn millions, and people on social media complaining that they may be dating outside of the race. A young person in communities, we got a lot more diverse communities than they were 20 or 30 years ago. What's you all's take on this whole issue of interracial dating, and what you taught your sons about it, how you feel about it?
Is it a conversation? I figured everybody was just cool with it now.
Man, get out of here.
What?
What are you talking about? Obama and all of that, man.
Post Obama, everybody ain't cool with it.
Please, bro. Please. No, sir.
You said post Obama, everybody cool with it.
It's women. Hold on.
Or you think Obama basically brought in what they call post-racial?
I just want to make sure. Here's what I want to do. I want to make sure we don't have a 1985 discussion in 2023.
But if that's your mindset, that's your mindset.
Because that's around the time that we was
living in like
I'm saying
boys.
The discussion.
But we living in like 1965 right now, like
well,
racially, like.
But like I don't want us to be in here like we're not gonna be having no discussion talking about some people talk about, you know, it's how other people look at you, and
do we sound
we're
like
not
that?
gonna have that discussion.
What are you talking about? That the case Loving versus Virginia?
I'm just worried about how your kids gonna be treated. You know, that's a 1985 conversation, I think.
It still exists, bro. You act like there are certain things that wouldn't exist regarding surrounding race and everything that still don't exist right now. That
but
sounds so naive,
it's so many
especially from you. Come on, fam.
I'm not being naive.
Nah, I know you are.
You know, I'm just thinking like,
don't let them off the hook.
Let's make sure we have.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
Let's just make sure we have an elevated discussion about the conversation.
You
about
tell
the
us
topic.
how elevated discussion looks.
What that means? Yeah, come on.
What it looks
you
like?
Set it off, bro.
Yeah.
You set it off. Then.
Let's make sure that it's not a black-white conversation, that it's a cultural conversation. I think that's the important, because I think that's where the breakdown happens.
But the whole topic of interracial dating means blacks and whites are involved, or different races are.
But I guess he doesn't want to make it exclusive
Latino.
to that, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But and that's fine.
Black, brown, yellow, white.
However, I think what's going to be hard to get past is that for us to date other cultural or ethnicity or whatever as blacks, I would be okay if K-Mood was to date a Latina shorty or what have you, or even an Asian female or something. Or
a Latina shorty.
You're bringing a lot of respect to this conversation.
A Latina female.
Elevate.
Or what have you. versus a Caucasian, given the historical context of it. You know what I mean? And not to say, well, because you could equally have
You said versus
challenges.
a Caucasian.
Hold on. Challenges. Challenges within the Asian community versus Black. There still could be something very similar too in that regard. But historically speaking, and with the experience we've had with Caucasians, I find that to be very much different than other races in that
It
experience.
was a different dynamic when it happened.
Yes.
Like the
That has to be
all
considered.
the racial stereotypes, big black buck and all that
So,
kind of
but
stuff
if
that
they
come
wanna,
with it.
but if they
you know.
want to go and they love and they want to fight it with their love, and we want to go after this together and conquer the world together.
At the end of the day, that's what would have to be kind of where you have to settle on it. However, I would strongly emphasize to him that, look, this is what you're going to be dealing with, is that though it may be more receptive and or accepted from us as a people than it is them, that's what you're going to have to, be aware of. And it's going to bring those challenges. And like you said, if they want to still try to fight through that and try to make that work, okay, that's what it is. What it is. But don't, it's almost like don't say I didn't tell you so. Don't say don't. It would be difficult for me to. I wouldn't say I wouldn't be there. You know what I mean, for him.
Oh, yeah,
or
of course.
I'm going to be there to try to help him navigate through that or what have you. But it's like, look, man, I tried to tell you this.
Marriage is enough trouble as it is.
Exactly.
You know
why?
what I mean,
why put on? And that's my
it presents
attitude.
enough challenges as it is.
Why
but
add one that doesn't necessarily have to be so? It would be my attitude and position toward it. Why add that? Why bring that in?
Well, I guess you add it
They
because
might say they love. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it because I fell in love, and when I love her, that's worth the fight.
So
You
you
know what I
all are
mean?
saying when it comes to interracial dating, is worth considering the impact of the racial differences on the relationship, each individual. That's an important piece.
I mean,
you would say to your son,
we want to keep
that
it
that's
on
important.
this, but it would be no different than if you were dating, if you a poor person and now all of a sudden you dating an extremely wealthy person, but they date you. You know what I mean? Like, so it's going to be a whole lot of complications if it comes to mixing socioeconomics on that level as well. You know what I mean? So, like, it's still going to present itself with a set of challenges, whether it's over finances or whether it's cultural and race, any of that. All of it's going to be a challenge. The question is, what do we say to our boys as they were coming up?
Wait, that's a horrible. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say horrible, but you can change that. You can make more money to change that. You can't change your race and that sort of thing, though. You know what I mean? So as I said, that's one of the craziest challenges that you would add on to the difficulty as is versus that of a socioeconomic difference.
I agree. You can change it. I agree. You can change it. The challenges I was speaking of is in the initial coming together of the relationship. In the initial coming together of the relationship, her family might not be trying to hear the fact that you poor boy from public housing, and you trying to marry into this family that has $100 million. They ain't trying to hear all that. They ain't trying to hear none of that. So that's what I'm thinking. That's going to be some now you might come up as a poor fellow. Just say you're a professional athlete or you're a business person, whatever. You can come up and change that, and all of a sudden, that little boy that they was looking at sideways that came from public housing.
Oh, come on in.
Right. Yeah, son. So good to see you. You just signed a $100 million contract with the Knicks. It's a different ball game. So that's what I'm talking about. So the question is, how did we talk about it with our sons? And did we talk about it? Was it an issue? How did we deal with it?
My take, let's zoom out real quick, right? In the history of this country, right? there's always been intermingling, right? As far as white folks been raping the slaves and having babies, whatnot, for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this country has done a phenomenal job of keeping everything separate, right? Forever. South America, most black folks on earth outside of Africa is not here, it's in Brazil, right? But those folks, the Indian, the white folks, the black folks, been mixing for years, right? So you fast forward up into integration, right? All of our parents basically integrated, and they may be in elementary school, right?
Right.
But was
Or
integration.
high school.
Yeah, and throughout that time, from slavery until then, if you were a mixed child, you were always raised by your black community, right?
Okay.
And so if our parents integrated, right, and then my uncles or someone, maybe your older brother, maybe been the first generation to grow up through integrated schools, right? So fast forward, these kids in the 80s, there's so many more mixed kids, right? And you would show me some stats that show white women raising a black child prior to the 80s, in the 70s. Very few and far between. Anytime somebody was mixed, it was typically raised by the black family.
By the black
The
side.
United States has the one drop rule, right? It's not like that in the Caribbean. It's not like that in South America. It's almost like the opposite, you know? But the United States has kept a grip on it so much, so that's how it is. So now when you see cats make it and they hugging their white moms, you're like, oh, I didn't even know he was mixed. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, in the past 30 years of this country, have you seen white women raising a black child? You don't see that.
Yeah,
When it
Obama's-
did happen, it
Obama's
was an
mom.
outlier.
No.
It very
Yeah, the
much so an
Obama was the
outlier.
outlier.
Yeah.
Right.
The Obamas was the outlier.
Yeah, that's the change, and that's the difference. In
And you see
addition,
that, and you see the old white parents with the black grandkids.
right,
Right.
what you've never seen before in the past.
You see that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
That's
see that
that's
now.
the big
Yeah,
change.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's different.
It's weird. We 50.
Hey,
No,
bro,
I'm just saying it's just weird when you see it. It's like,
when
you know,
look,
you just look like,
Is it?
Even
Is
in our
it? Is it a
town,
sign
right?
of progress?
nah, because I don't, like, the first thought that need come to my mind is that, oh, that's his granddad probably. First thought come to my mind, like, what are you doing with that old dude? Like, I mean, you know what
need
I'm
some
saying?
help?
Like, I don't know.
Um,
I mean, for me, I know I probably on the side of being aggressive about this issue and teaching what I taught my sons. Just being, I don't know when I say aggressive, it was one of the things that was important for me to say is that, you come from this people first of all, right?
Yes, sir.
You're part of a people. You're part of God's people. You're part of the original people on this planet. And when you talk to them about slavery, we lost something. In slavery, we lost family. We lost identity. We lost all of these things. So I remember, rest in peace to the late Sister Ava Muhammad, who
Oh, man.
said,
Yes, sir.
when people say you have a choice, she said you don't have a choice when it comes to restoring the purity of our souls and spirits and heredity that we lost during slavery. Like, you got a responsibility to try to rebuild that. So for me, it wasn't as much as, I don't want you dating any white folks because they white. It's, I want you to focus on rebuilding us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I want you to find a woman that you can rebuild us with.
That don't sound like the white nationalists.
It might.
He said it might.
It might.
If they say that.
No,
is that what they say?
because their attitude is like
Yeah.
keep our race pure. Yeah, it's not about the rebuilding
See-
nothing.
Well, if they know that they're minority on the planet.
I think the difference is that I really don't have a problem if they believe that that's what they should do. I have a problem with them, what they're willing to do to make sure that that happens. And so when I say that to my sons, I'm not telling them that go put your foot on white folks' neck. Now go
Right.
oppress them. Now go discriminate against them.
Right.
So that we can make sure we maintain that. I'm saying no. I just want you to love this woman, have some children, build our community, and be right by everybody you come across. But this is the type, I want you to build a family that looks like you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that
Yeah.
looks like where you come from.
But what about, people say people date within their culture. So yeah, you might be white or black or whatever, but if we done send our kids to these private schools with all these white folks,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
they gonna date who they in school with. That's a part of the culture. That's a part of their upbringing and who they done grew up with. Now the fact that he black and she white, well, culturally, their experiences can be very similar because of the way they growing up. Is you growing up in a neighborhood and people got swimming pools, swimming pool at your house.
So the culture in this case could
When
be
you-
wealth culture.
When you
or culture.
Once
ask me
again.
how it plays out, what you're responding to is how it plays out. I was
That is
responding
true.
to what I wanted to teach. Right?
I got you.
Now, how that plays out differently. Can be where you live. It can play out. It played out differently for me because I grew up here and stayed here and had limited options. Right? You're forced if you grew up in a school with a majority white females and
We grew up in a school that was 90% white in high
You're
school.
forced when you get at the age
87.
where
87,
you're
okay.
interested in females, you're forced to look outside of your race just by biology, right?
But
You know,
but back to Waukee about this private school. That's your experience, right?
Yeah.
Your kids' experience.
That's what I was talking culturally.
I live in the city in Atlanta
Yeah.
where
The private school's still black.
it could be
Right.
predominantly or 50-50,
Right.
so
Or with Chubb.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I live in
a
a city where my son, I don't know the
The demographics
Mm-hmm.
percentages
and
or
all
what,
that.
but it was pretty mixed,
but look, when we had a previous episode, you said you taught your sons that it's best to wait to have sex. Well, you can wait for your mate till you can get the flavor you want.
That is true.
But
I mean,
but,
you understand what I'm
let me
saying?
say
I mean,
this.
Sure, yeah, you
but-
wait.
but
yeah, I
the
mean,
flavor that you develop the appetite for is the flavor you was around when you was in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade.
yeah,
That's
but
how you develop the
but
appetite.
you gotta know. I mean, I wonder for me, but I don't know how much that flavor you gonna want after I teach you what happened.
What do you mean? Wait. What do you mean by that though?
Nah, but let me say it like this. What I'm saying is, when you find out what the whole thing means by restoring culturally what we lost,
Right.
when you find out what that really means, then your attraction is going to be heavily towards what reflects that. That's a safe way for me to say it.
Okay.
I understand. Because what we don't want is for our young boys to develop a slave mind when it comes
That's
to
a
dating.
fact.
That's the
Yeah.
bottom line.
That's the
We
risk.
don't want them to develop a slave mind in terms of seeing, I get me a white woman and that's a prize, or I get me
She's better because she's white.
she's better because she's
Yeah.
white. And I feel like oftentimes, and I'm not just me. I don't feel like this, but what I'm saying is sometimes when you see the individuals that we believe got the slave mind, they'll date any white girl that's a 5. But if they'll date a sister, but she gotta be a 10.
Yeah.
They would never date a sister that's a 5, but they'll date a white girl that's a 5.
Now,
Right.
why,
I got a real issue with that because now you got a slave mind. You have a superiority and an inferiority issues going on.
Right.
That's what I
Right.
got a real issue with.
Right.
That's what I really got an issue with. So it ain't about
And
that
that even there, that's not even about race.
right.
That's about
exactly.
you having an issue with self-identity. You have an identity problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? On
Exactly.
your own self-value,
Exactly. So we got to make sure that our identities are intact.
Yeah.
So how you raising them with that identity at this age when they start to develop a taste or their preferences.
Right.
Let me say it that way. When they start to develop these preferences for dating, it happens before you even really know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
By the time
yeah.
you look up and they looking for a prom date, You know, in the 11th grade, they already done developed the preference.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they haven't been dating already, you know? And I wasn't big on no whole lot of dating for my kids anyway.
Right,
You know,
right.
my whole theory on dating was you can go out when you can take her out. So basically, I ain't for no dating until you're
But-
driving and you can go out.
But we can say dating, right? But you know, just like anything else, man, when we go back and we look at it on a microscopic level, there's dating and then there's I sit beside you every day in English. I mean, right?
Right.
So
Right.
we spending a lot of time together, right?
Yeah.
We talking like, and over the course of a semester, a year, your locker next to mine, like you not dating, you really are dating. I mean, you.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you understand what I'm saying?
Middle
so
school.
y'all not calling it that, but
Yeah.
she like you like her, and you start to find out those boundaries. That's what I'm saying. These boundaries in terms of race, you really start finding those out before you name them, because of just seeing how they move. And oh, she really like me a lot when they not around, or
Yeah.
when they at the lunch table, it's kind of weird. Or I don't really want to see her when John and Joaquin and them over there. You know, like, do you understand? You know,
Yeah.
it's you know, so.
But I think too, for real, like a big piece of it is the trauma, if we had it, that we might have had. You know, being young people in the 80s, how we was super cool with the white girls in middle school, you know, but then when you call a house in high school, their parents giving you a different vibe, a different feel, the separation take
It
place.
was cute in
And
elementary and middle
on a
school.
certain level,
Right.
that's very painful to us, because ain't nobody really explained to us that this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
this was
preparing
gonna
you.
happen. Now, I don't know how our parents could have known. They wouldn't have known because they went to segregated schools. So they didn't encounter this.
No.
like
My
we
mother
did.
was on that type of time. Like, you better stop calling them people house.
Yeah.
You don't calling them people house anyway. I mean, I'm just like,
Yeah.
don't you know?
And,
Like,
and there's a reason behind
they
that,
weren't
right?
that comfortable with them as
Right.
we were. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, but
Because our experiences was different.
right.
Right,
Yeah.
as he said, they was growing up in a segregated situation.
Right.
But
Come on,
I would
man.
have to say though, I don't recall anyone in this panel having been someone
in this brotherhood.
who
He called us the panel.
dated interracially, formally.
In middle school, I had my white girl.
Middle school.
Calm down,
Middle
James.
school.
Middle school.
She be salty with me if I call her name out. I'm telling you,
Hello,
'cause she got
hello.
salty when we
Hold
broke
on,
up.
time out.
Yeah,
She's
already-
still mad at
So,
you.
and
the
gave
reason
my
why I said formally
and
because
gave my
I'm
dad on
saying you
St. Christopher
formally was
away.
on, like, whatever was going on
You
back
know who
then
you
was
are.
like, will you go with me? I don't know what you people just call it, but y'all was straight up James plus this person. That's what it was.
Yes, sir. In middle school, they knew me.
On First Street.
And she and
What
we
you
were
do with your
together.
St. Christopher?
Man, she.
Do we know?
Lord, but she didn't get my joint back.
Do we know?
Nanny gave me that St. Christopher, bro.
Oh,
And she did, and I, you know, as my token of
you need to get that
of our
jump back,
joint.
James.
Oh, that was y'all bonding.
Yeah.
That's what you gave her in terms of
That meant a
bonding.
lot, yo. And she never gave that joint back.
Why did y'all
I need
break
it
up?
back.
Why did y'all break up?
I think I cheated in some kind of way.
You cheated on her, bro?
I think Bootsy came around.
Man, listen. Talking about colorism. Why he give her name out and wouldn't give her the other girl's name out?
It just
Oh, you
slipped.
right, 'cause
Gave the
I,
sister
it
name
just
I
out.
know
slipped.
me and Bootsy real cool.
Yeah.
Anywho,
Yeah, Boosie was your middle
But
school
yeah,
girlfriend.
shoot,
That's
Boosie-
funny. Yeah, she was your middle school
Hey.
girlfriend. And
Y'all leave
broke your
Hacktown out
heart.
the situation.
Please.
Many of no.
seeing that,
Yeah.
but it woke me up too. As far as, hey, what's wrong with you? Stay within your stay within your culture.
Little
Hey,
testy
hey,
over
hey,
here.
Corey, let me ask you this, man. Talk about the effects of Emmett Till amongst other many things that happen, you know, that in recent history, we ain't talking about 200 years ago or 100 years ago, that affects the attitudes about that.
I mean, you know, when you talk about Emmett Till, you know, go back to that whole slave the slave master saying to the slave when he see him looking at a white woman, "You like white women, don't you?" "No, sir. I don't like white women." "Oh, you don't like white women, do you?"
Right.
"Yes, sir. I like women." "Oh, you like white women, don't you?"
Right.
"No, sir." That whole game, right?
Yeah.
And you know how you were supposed to look down when you were in the presence of someone white at all times at the ground, or how in Fredericksburg, downtown Fredericksburg, they had these big barrels called laughing barrels, where if you was a slave and you was laughing in public, you weren't supposed to be seen laughing in public. You had to go stick your head down in a barrel so you could laugh and they wouldn't see you laughing,
What?
right?
Yeah.
So it was all of these customs
That's why we
back
cover all
to it being something like with Emmett Till. You ain't supposed to talk to a white woman. You ain't supposed to say nothing. You ain't supposed to look at them. And the false accusation now that we know the lady admitted lying that he had whistled at her and said something to her. So the attitude today is, number one, the white woman, you know, just historically in America, has always been taboo to the black man, right? That's always been a taboo relationship. There's never been a taboo relationship between white men and black women. That's never been a taboo relationship. It's always been a violent, forced relationship, but I'm just saying it wasn't, it was accepted, right? You know,
What do you mean? How so? You think so?
how that relationship
You
was
thought
accepted?
the white man and the black woman was accepted? In what way?
Who
or
did
what?
something about it? Black men didn't do nothing about it.
True.
White women didn't do anything about it.
It was tolerated.
But it was also very,
But,
very.
well, okay,
It
I'll
wasn't.
take
It wasn't.
that.
It wasn't as common either as the other. You know what I
What
mean?
was it?
Not
White-
publicly. Not
Yeah,
publicly. no.
right.
Black,
public.
white men?
Yeah, white men
No,
and
I'm
black
talking.
women.
I'm including the rape.
Oh, you include
Yeah,
that?
slave. He
I'm
talking about
including the
slave.
rape.
Oh, you talking about the
Yeah,
slave?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm including all that.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
You
yeah.
know
I was
what I'm
talking
saying?
about
Yeah.
yes, with
I'm including all
outside
of
of
that.
that. Whereas we felt, all right, look at the athlete. If we talking about athletes and stuff like that, or entertainers, or more so athletes, it seems to be very much so more common that they do gravitate.
What kid has a theory about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I have
lay,
a theory
lay
on
your
that.
theory on that, bro.
I don't know how good it is. We have to ask
It's
my
good.
son how good it is. But I have a theory on that. And for real, like seriously, and it's just from me observing even our own sons. I think what happens is when you're a young black girl and you coming up, I think you're constantly bombarded with the message of, listen, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you have to depend on a man. You need to get yourself together, go to college, get your job, get your paper up, buy you a house, get yourself together. You'll have plenty of time for a husband. I think that's the message they receive.
Okay.
And so those young ladies who are on that path, that's what they do. Well, those young black boys who are also on that path, they're not really thinking about it. They got their head down handling their business, whether it's playing football, basketball, entrepreneurialism, whatever it is. Well, as they're coming up, the young ladies of the opposite race may identify them as going somewhere with their life. You know, he's a potential mate. This guy gonna do something with himself. You know what I'm saying? So I'll date him. I'll date him now. I'll date him now. Well, guess what? No, I'm serious. I'll date him now. So now, when he's sitting on the couch on draft night, this girl been with him since he was a nobody with no money. All right? And so now they're like looking at him like, there he go with another white girl. No, she been with him when he had nothing. Well, guess what? By the time the little black girls get 32, 35, and they got their paper together and their house and all this stuff, they look around, all those potential mates, our sons, taken, gone, not available.
Hey, yo.
Yeah, like seriously, that's what happened. And so it's like it's a timing
back
thing.
Back up. What
They
what
just
do you
miss
think?
them.
But what do you think? What do you think?
'Cause the guy's
made
not
him
on no-
decide to go with the Caucasian.
I mean, we
that
went
time.
out. I'm dating her. We kicking it. We hanging. We friends. She a part of the friend group. They don't have
Let me add on to
separate
what you
friend
said.
You
groups
think
and all that
you think
stuff.
he overlooked the sister?
The
the young
sister
sister
ain't had time for him. She handling her business. She handling her business. She ain't had time
You're
for
being real
him.
hard on sisters, though.
I'm not being hard on sisters.
You
They
are.
taking care of
You are,
themselves.
because some of them.
That's for a
not-
particular-
I mean, you talking about a segment of what's going on, I think. Like, I
Listen,
agree that in some
I'm
situations.
talking about
that will
those
happen.
sisters, when they reach a certain level, they going to be looking for guys on their level. And what I'm saying
about to
is
say, because you're
the
talking about
guys
a-
on their level going to be taken.
But you back to what you were saying, James, getting to the guys motivated. You act like there's not any guys out there that said, you know what, I would have taken a sister, but she wasn't available. I got this white chick. And some of them that straight up like, I'm gonna get me a white chick.
Hey, going
No
back,
That's just
questions
what they
asked.
want.
Right.
Hey, yo,
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Going
Like,
back to what you were saying about the private school, right?
Uh-huh.
We're gonna keep it a buck. And this is not everybody doesn't do all of one thing, right?
Right.
So let's say Tech, it's probably 4% black, less than 5. You
Where,
can
who?
stat
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Oh, okay.
School.
And so how many brothers there that's not on the football team? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the ratio, as far as it's similar to the private school. So if you look at the minority stat, it might be close to 20%, but it's Asians is the vast majority of that, right?
Right.
And so now you playing ball, and again, see, white girls a lot of times have luxuries, and not all white girls are like this. Not all black girls a certain kind of way. They can sleep with 30 guys throughout their college experience. You know what I mean? That's just living. That's just sow your wild oats just like guys do. Sisters don't have that opportunity, especially at a PWI, right? 'Cause if she dated this guy, now I don't want to mess with her because she dated that guy. You know what I mean? She might only dated 3 guys, right? But it's like it's a different standard that she's held to. And now if you're an athlete and these girls just throwing themselves at you, it's a numbers game, right? It's easy money. You know what I mean? They just knocking them down. And next thing you know, this is what you've been doing for 4 years, and this is what you're used to by proximity alone. I think a lot of it happens that way.
So you think that has to do with the racial demographic of like the school or whatever the case may be?
Yeah,
Man,
because you
look-
don't see the athletes come out the
But let's
HBCUs
be
doing
honest
that.
too with these
You know what I mean?
athletes too, man. These universities are keeping these young ladies around these athletes and choosing who's around them, working and spending time tutoring them and
She
all of
the
that
tutor.
too.
You think so?
And then not only that, because I know someone that went to high school with my son that played college basketball to the point where, you know, of course, y'all know all of these stories. They left young ladies in the hotel room. They didn't leave no sisters.
Right.
They left white girls.
That's just one
For the black
situation, though.
athlete. That's one
No.
situation
That's
replicated
That's everywhere.
a lot.
When you being recruited,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
it's a lot of that.
they letting you know who to hang around and trying to encourage you who to hang around and be around. And a lot of it too, sometimes I would argue too, in some sense of case, you know, it's true too. And some brothers don't want to get with sisters because of the accountability. Because when you're the athlete, you get what you want. Everybody's catering to you. And some of our young sisters ain't going for that. So it's easier for me to date somebody that's gonna do everything I say and not hold me accountable.
And you
treat me
done
like the
developed a sense of entitlement.
basketball star that I am. And sister from around the way not going for that.
The Boys to Men podcast, or B2M podcast, is about 5 guys who've been friends for over 40 years. Between the 5 of us, we've been married for over 100 combined years. Between the 5 of us, we have 13 children, 12 sons. We discuss in our podcast about our journeys into fatherhood and how we raised our sons to be fine young men. From 6-figure earners at LinkedIn to a professional Call of Duty player, college educated entrepreneurs, that's who we are. Our podcast is not a how to do it podcast. It is a podcast about how we did it. Come check us out.
You know? So you go with the other girl, you marry her, you get divorced, sister around the way, 32, and y'all hook up 12 years later. All the money gone though about it.
Because she get it from child.
She get him.
Money gone.
The money
what
gone,
about the
but
young
she
boys?
Yo, the
just
money
say-
gone, yeah.
Well, the young boys say the black girls just as loose as the sister. Oh, you know, all the girls loose. You know, ain't no
loose
difference
mean?
in color.
What loose mean?
You know what?
Sleeping with multiple people.
You know
Okay.
And so they not choosing none of them because they all sleeping with too
I
many
agree.
people
I
for
told
their
my sons
preference.
they need to leave the country and go find one.
Who are they sleeping with out the country?
Huh?
What them women out the country sleeping
I don't
with?
know, but I mean, a lot of them, you know, they just grow with different
At least
values.
you know she ain't been with
They don't
Earl.
grow. They don't have loose values over there like we have over here.
Because
But then it's gonna.
You
It
know
might.
what I'm saying?
They might have another problem.
Well, they might, but you know, I tell you what, this one we got here is no future in that.
Man, we sound like some old heads right now. Are we sounding like old heads?
Why can't a woman sleep with how many men she want to sleep with?
It's her.
This
personal-
ain't that
She's-
podcast, man.
But not what I'm saying.
not
But
the
she's
episode.
not hurting
That's
nobody.
the double stand, right?
That's her body. She's not hurting anyone.
That's a different podcast.
She's hurting society.
Is she?
Yeah, she's hurting society by doing that.
What about a man who do it? Is he hurting society?
He's hurting society, but he doesn't have as much power to hurt society as she does.
That's right.
man.
Because you
Because she came from the natural leaves of this
bro,
world.
Bro, the standard
Oh,
is
sorry.
the
No.
way we treat
Because they
our
more
women
powerful than they say she
determines the quality of our nation.
Oh, okay.
So what's the quality of our nation based on that statement?
Oh my God, this nation here, bro.
You made the
This,
statement.
yeah. I didn't
well,
get
we
that
see
far.
We see that all of the corruption and degradation and all that America. Yeah, I mean, you can see that it's not the superpower once was. If you're talking about this nation, the United States, but
So yay or nay? Your son comes to you and wants to date interracially. What's your response? They 16 years old, James.
he's 16.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know nothing about relationship, whoever it is. But no, if I'm drawing from my man Waz thing of okay, that's an age where he
So
can.
no, Kane just came to you. Kane just came to you.
Hold on.
And you gonna start off saying if
can-
I'm drawing from.
Well, at that time, because he wasn't driving on nothing anyway. So I probably would have used Waz philosophy. You can't take yourself out. You don't need to be going out and doing nothing.
Avoidance.
But no, actually, I'm trying to think back, and I think K-Moo did. I don't think she was Caucasian though. I think she's like a little Latina though. And I knew it wasn't too much to that.
No answer.
Hold on, bro.
No answer.
I think I had somewhat the attitude that Wild mentioned earlier, where their parents are kind of like at a certain grade level and everything. Oh, it's kind of cute. It's okay. But honestly, I think even at that, again, it would have been a thing of, look, son, you really don't understand anything about, male-female relationships. You may like, so on and so forth. I kind of would have put it in a general category as opposed to specific a racial piece. I'm thinking.
So you would avoid it.
Did he answer your question?
No, he didn't.
No, I did not. However, I would
Still not answering.
if he was serious, if he still bugged me about it and was like,
So he's basically saying I would just drag it out.
I'm
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would just
Stall
drag it
tactic.
out.
Like,
yeah,
son,
yeah.
I wouldn't go that route if I were you. If you're finding
Christopher necklace.
if
by
you-
the way.
Damn, I ain't get my St. Christopher.
if you find yourself
He's not listening to you, bro.
So,
If
for
I
me,
were your son and you were talking to me like you are, I am not listening to nothing you just said.
well, I don't because it's not gonna be that cut and dry anyway though. Because I'd be like, yo, well, let me meet her, whoever it is, whether she's white, Asian,
Whatever.
Latino, whatever, I'd like to know and meet the parents to see where they are. You know what I mean? And then from that, I'd be like, okay, I'm not the vibe I'm getting from them. Or if I present that to him and he says, oh, you wouldn't want to, her parents wouldn't want, her parents don't know anything about me. Is
I mean,
that
he's
not a
coming
good
to
sign
you
for
from
you?
school, like he's 16, right? I mean, like
Okay,
he
high
got
school.
his tuba, you know what I'm saying?
It's trombone, brother. It's trombone.
He got
Okay.
his trombone.
Okay.
Hey, Dad, hey, Pops, what's going on? Hey, what's up, Kevin? What's going on? Hey, just my thinking about kicking it with this white, this white young lady. in
Me and
class.
Becky been kicked.
Nobody's talking about meeting their parents yet, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, you way past all, like,
yeah, why
he's
ain't-
just coming to you saying, I'm thinking about dating this white chick. What you think? Like, You know what I'm saying? What
I don't think that's a good idea.
you gonna say?
I don't think that's a good idea. There's your answer, bro. I don't think
Why?
that's a good idea.
Why is that?
No, you don't want to hear my why. You don't want to hear all of that.
He does. That's what I'm asking. Like, why?
I don't think that's a good idea given the historical context of blacks and whites in this country and how it has been, that her parents are going to be cool with that. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily cool with it because of that, and knowing that the attitudes of Americans and whatnot is not there. It's not there to really have that exist without there being blowback.
But Dr.
And so
King
why put
said
yourself
that
through
we
that?
wanted to live in a country where people are judged by the content of their character.
And we still not there.
We ain't got there yet.
We
But
still not there.
Here's what I would say,
Okay.
and for real, and Darius is here, so y'all can look over there at him and see what he say. But
I'm giving
for real,
him my mic.
First of all, I did not want to be a hypocrite. I wouldn't want to be a hypocrite and say people are equal, everybody the same, da 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 da. I've been preaching this all your life, and then you 16 and you want to date. I'm like, but stay away from the white girls. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Here's what I will say though, and here's what I have said. I don't care who you dating, especially if it's interracial, because that's when it's an issue. Here's what I don't want you to do. You going over there to meet her folks or be around her family, and now you trying to play what I call super nigga. Oh, I'm just a perfect guy, and I'm not like the rest of those blacks. You know, like don't you be on none of that. Don't you be on none of that, bro.
That's what
you
have.
You better show up as your authentic self and be yourself around these folks. Don't be trying to front. Don't be trying to fake. Don't do none of that stuff. You be yourself. I'm gonna have a real problem with that. You trying to be super
They ask
Negro.
you, do you drink Kool-Aid? You say, yes, I drink
Yes,
Kool-Aid.
I drink Kool-Aid. And when they ask you what you want, if you want a piece of watermelon, say, yeah, bring me a slice. No,
Right.
I'm not going to eat watermelon in front of these white
From that
folks.
stereotype
No,
of
don't
fried
be
chicken.
rolling like that. You know you want
Darius,
the
we
watermelon.
fried some
You know
chicken
you want
for
the
dinner.
chicken. Yeah.
You want some?
Darius, we knew you were coming. We made chicken. You know?
It's fried too.
And it's fried.
Hey,
So, yeah.
hey,
So,
Catherine
that's-
make great
That was
chicken.
my whole thing. Like, yeah, if you go
Really,
into that environment,
Go
if
full
you
Negro
choose,
when you get up in there.
if you choose
You know
a
what I'm
date,
saying?
be yourself.
Shoot, save
Be
your
yourself.
pants, all that when you walk
That's
around.
right. Now, obviously,
Wipe your shirt later.
yeah,
Be yourself.
yeah, be yourself.
Really?
Don't you go in there being no flake, man, and you thinking it's a compliment if they say some crap to you like, oh, you're not like the rest of the black people we know. If they say something, I don't know that. I'm just
Maybe
saying.
they think. Maybe they sincerely mean
But
that.
it's some black dudes that think that's a compliment.
Right,
Why wouldn't it
right.
be?
And he wouldn't want Darius to be
Yeah, I want to make sure my son not one of them people that think that's a compliment. I want to make sure
that
you're not
was-
one.
that was
Both
your
of my sons, like, yeah,
Okay.
don't go in there trying to suck up to these people, trying to act like I'm super Negro and I'm just
But
super
did you,
special.
did you educate on why? Because you said you taught the equality, and I get that, right?
Yeah.
But did you educate on the side of why there is inequality related to that? Like, man, and there is value in this black family thing, like.
No,
Or
I
did
didn't.
you
I
just
wasn't.
model that?
I did.
You just saw
Yeah.
that you modeled that.
Yeah, I just tried to
Okay.
model that. I didn't. I don't think that was. I don't recall that ever really being a conversation.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You know, like I really don't.
Didn't
If
see
it
the
was,
necessary. If you're modeling it, you didn't see it. The necessity.
yeah, I'm just
Or-
like, hey, all I can say, hey, I mean, the best thing I did, I feel like, was I demonstrated how I treated his mother.
Yeah.
You got to see me in relationship with your mother for the last 30 years or whatever.
Right.
So that's all. That's my example. I don't have to open my mouth. Just watch. This is what I did.
And what that mean?
You take it for what it's worth. You take it for what it's worth.
Chill.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm
Because I
just saying.
believe
I'm
I
just saying,
believe more
like-
things are caught than taught. So I don't know what it may have meant to him. He's sitting over there. You can ask him.
No, I'm just saying
But-
he had a couple white relationships in the past.
Yeah,
and his mama always been black.
yeah,
So
right. So
I'm just
How
saying,
does that help him?
how
Yeah.
did it help him? Yeah, oh yeah, he said he date black girls too. He don't just
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
he date
Nah,
black
I'm
girls
just
too.
kidding.
Yeah, he date. He
Okay.
date.
Okay.
But
think,
what? So
man.
what if he asked you?
Hey, well,
It
well,
ain't
you really
an
couldn't
issue
answer that,
unless
though,
somebody
if
being
you had to say-
exclusive.
if you had
The
to-
problem is the black dudes that say, "Man, I only date white girls because these black girls run their mouth too much or they too loud." And them dudes, I got a problem with.
but what if what if in the past those the ones
That's been
he
his experience?
Yeah, and it's true to him. You still got a problem?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I know that's not indicative of all black women. So yeah, I got a problem with you saying that. And you should be educated enough to know that that's not all black women. That's just been your experience. Maybe you should
That's exactly
go somewhere
he going
else.
off his experience.
Yeah, exactly. But you need to understand that that might be your experience, but don't blanket that over everyone.
What about
Don't
with
paint
Tyreek,
everybody with that.
Tilly? He come
I
home,
want him to be super
he
Negro.
bring it home. Young
Chill,
news anchor,
foolish.
he brings home, he comes out and he brings home a date from some other rival news show. Two anchors hanging out.
He bring home a Fox News chick.
Molly Havershouter.
From Fox News.
Right on, son. I don't know. I mean, stuff gonna happen, right? Your children gonna be your children. I mean, and if you bring them home, I was like, oh, okay, y'all co-workers. I'm not gonna assume that he dating her. By
What
no
if he
means.
is dating her?
No, I'm saying that's what
Okay.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he is dating her, I mean, how long this been going on?
Okay.
6
how-
months.
how-
6 months.
Yeah, I'm just
What
gonna
that
ask.
one day
I'm
he
just
said?
gonna ask questions.
What you think, Dan? You
What
think
you
about-
think? I
think
think
about
she's.
getting real serious
I
with
think
it,
she's
man.
gorgeous.
I'm thinking about getting real serious with
What
it.
if she not? No.
No, well, yeah.
She not, Nick.
Huh?
Hey, she
Thinking
just got to
about-
be a 5. Like you
thinking
said,
about-
And she just got to be a 5.
I'm thinking about building a life with her, Dad.
No, sir.
No, what'd you say?
Hey, no, sir.
Oh, that's what you would say, chill.
Hey, if I ran the sister off, I don't have no
Hey.
problem with running her off too.
so hey,
I mean,
hey,
no,
look,
sir.
so
Wait,
you rather
all right,
him
so
bring
now
home
just-
Becky or Timmy?
Whoa. Where
Timmy.
did this go?
If Timmy is homeboy, that's cool.
I'm just asking.
John done took us off the rails. John done took us off the rails.
I'm just saying how adamant you are about this. That's all.
Malik said no, sir.
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Doesn't have your endorsement.
nah. Well, the thing is, if he's saying he's serious, then I would just continue asking questions and what make you feel like you serious and stuff like that. And then of course he gonna continue arguing, and I'll be like, well, hey, at the end of the day, that's up to you. If you ask me what I think, I don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Hey,
Why?
I heard somebody.
Cause my personal preference.
But it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's him.
So he's saying
It's
it's
like,
different having
But he
preferences
asked
versus
me-
exclusion.
Hold on a second. You asked
It
me
do have something
why.
to do with him.
You
What does
asked
that have
me
to do with
why.
him?
Because if he's dating them, we got stuff going on. I'm gonna be invited to events as the father. There's family connection. They call it the
But
ties
I
of
meant as
family.
far as his
The
preference.
ties of relationship, brother.
But,
you know
but
about that?
I know. But as far as his preference, though, what does that matter if it's concerning?
But you asked.
Because
He
we're
asked
a
it.
unit. We're a
If
kingdom.
Rick's-
We're
at the-
a Carter clan.
preference.
I say at the you say he asked me.
Why,
And I
why you have a
said-
problem with it?
I said, well, how I feel. Now, if that's what he want to continue doing, that's on
But
him.
it's okay for you to say I prefer black women.
No, that's what I said.
I prefer
Okay.
that.
Yeah, he
you
said,
date-
yeah, it's a difference between having a
prefer that you
preference
date.
versus an exclusion. As Joaquin was saying earlier, with certain guys, I don't date this type of stuff, this type of person.
Well, it's just
Okay.
like some people say, I don't date people that steal. I don't date people that.
Right.
Hey, look,
I don't have a
I-
problem
Or
with
the,
that.
or the
Loud,
colorism thing.
Yeah.
Light-skinned women, dark-skinned
Yeah.
women.
I heard
Dudes
somebody
got
talk
them
about,
issues too.
you know, if you put in an application, right, let's say a government position, all things considered even. But if you're military, you get a few extra points, right? So I heard a cat talk about that when it comes to dating a white girl or black girl. All things considered even, right? Morals, values, character. Well, she get an extra few points because we were the same culture. And I heard some guys put it that way, right? But beyond understanding the history of it and knowing your history, I mean, I've been through it with my oldest son. You know what I mean? Multiple times when he was 16, and he was dating. Actually, it was a Salvadoran chick, and her father didn't want them dating.
Chick or lady?
Well, she was a young lady. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I can't say shorty. You can't say chick.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean,
Jeez.
and so it was a situation where her dad did not want him dating.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it had nothing to do but beyond the color of his skin, right?
Right.
And so he went through that, and so he went through it through college. I'm like, you can date what you want to date, but like we was talking about, these people, if they don't like you because of your character or your values or how you dress or how you carry yourself or whatever, right? That's hard enough to deal with anyway. But he's been rejected, throughout his college years by the family. You know what I mean? And by no other than the color of his skin. And so he's dealt with that heartache a few times. And
Yet he still
How you feel
yeah.
about it?
he still decided and had
You know?
preference for that.
yeah. He's
Did you teach him as a child? Did y'all teach him what did he learn about dating and race as a child?
Well, yeah, again, that's going into a whole nother topic because
Dating and race as a child, you say?
Yeah.
I think because his mother's Dominican, right? And then there's a lot of colorism within that culture as well.
Right. That's true
that
too.
has
Yeah, right.
has I think that's in my opinion that's affected him growing up because he's the brown one in the family. You know what I mean?
And if you brown over
the
there, it's,
Yeah.
it's almost like a caste.
Look at Sammy Sosa. That dude's a handsome man, rich. Look at what he did to himself. That's just self-hatred.
Because of colorism.
He did
Right.
an
That's
he did an
colorism,
MJ.
self-hatred. He's gonna change his whole skin.
So he
tone.
was already had a warped sense of the
Identity.
Right,
racial identity issue point. Yeah.
And we all want to save our children from heartache. You know what I mean? On a fundamental level. No matter what, whoever the lady is, right? And so that's just an additional layer of heartache that you might have to incur from the uncles, the father, the grandfather. Whoever you married is gonna be you marrying the family. You know what I'm saying? This
Right.
is your children's uncle, their granddaddy. So you gotta take that into consideration.
So now we don't have to theorize on us. What about you personally?
what
You the
about
latest one up here.
Yeah,
Everybody know that you interracial.
right.
How did that
We
play
know.
out? We know.
You say everybody know. I'm
Oh.
saying we know.
Oh yeah.
So-
yeah. How that play
so
out
this-
when you was dating?
Here we go. This goes back to the history, right? We're talking about the country. So our great grandparents, right? My great grandfather, half black, half white. His white father ain't had nothing to do with him. He was raised by his black mother. You know what I mean? He had a dark brother. My grandfather was on the light side. He married grandma. They had 13 kids, right? And so fast forward, my biological was a white dude. He never raised me. Never had nothing to do with me. I was raised by the black side of my family. So that's me, and that's my culture. I know what I look like, but crazy enough, when we talk about growing up here 30 years ago, it was obvious to the teachers or wherever I go that I was black. You know what I mean? Because it was black or white. There's a very few mixed people coming
Right.
around. And again, all that I knew were raised by their black family.
How was it obvious that you was black?
It was growing up.
with them long curly locks. No,
Look,
Man,
yeah, but
somebody
now,
could have told us
It all depended on the
Costa Rica
haircut.
somewhere.
Hey,
What
look,
you say?
so
Somebody
look,
gonna tell you for
exactly.
Yeah.
But look, we didn't grow up with a lot of Spanish folks in this area.
No.
Right.
Over the past 30 years,
Right.
you got
Well, it had to be
Salvadorans,
black.
Mexicans coming in deep and heavy, right? But now, I'm in the DMV, so to speak, and everybody think I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican, Moroccan.
Everybody think
Afghan,
you are
I can be Middle
whoever
Eastern.
you around.
Yeah.
It don't matter. Whoever you
Right.
around, they think you that.
Right. And so that's it. And this is who I was raised by. So your culture versus your ethnicity is not always the same thing, And
Right.
so
And that's what I was talking about in the very beginning when I was talking culturally and how you raised and you going to private schools with certain people. Culturally, y'all coming up kind of the same way, listening same music and all that stuff. Like that is so when you growing up like that, it don't seem outside of the realm if you choose a white girl because y'all done grew up the same.
Let me ask you this: now, when they ask you, are you Moroccan or something else? Did you say, yeah, I'm Moroccan because she was fine or what?
yeah, depending on how fine she was.
Hey man, I heard her passing, but I ain't heard her passing on that side.
This is my take on that, man. Yeah, so I let them know.
Yeah, what you say?
Let them know the value of the black family and black women, and the importance of black women and how they the mother of civilization. what we lost, right?
Right.
And that you should marry a black woman, right? But
Why?
You said
That's
Mary.
why.
What about the dating piece? You
It's the value.
you posed
The
us with the
value.
whole
Same
dating
thing,
piece.
same thing.
The
At
value.
16, if they came to you and said that, or did use your whole scenario and question. At
Oh.
16, despite what you taught them and showed them and said about the rebuilding,
So
blah
I
blah
would
blah.
refer
If they
back to
came,
what I was just talking about. I said, remember when I taught you about the history of our people
uh-huh.
and all of that stuff? So really, no. But remember that if you do, the only acceptable circumstance is that you don't have a slave mentality about this, and that's why you're doing it. If you feel you got some connection that's so powerful that you want to go through all of what we talked about,
Right.
fine. But
Right.
if because you feel inferior and you just doing it because of all of the wrong reasons, and you got a slave mentality, then you being a fool and you selling out.
And that shouldn't be the case with the upbringing you gave him. So that
It shouldn't be, but they
having that
still
type
could
of
do it. But I'm
mentality.
saying, so I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna discriminate, but I'm gonna let you know, I think you shouldn't do that.
Right.
But if you do it, make sure it's really love instead of you thinking the white man's ice is colder. You know what I'm saying? Like the slave on the plantation thought Miss Susie smelled better because she could wear perfume and she looked nicer in nicer clothes, so he inherently thinks white women is better. He can't wait to get a white woman when the gates get open. And we still acting out, just like we talked about the trauma episode, we still acting out a lot of those patterns for no reason. So,
Unconsciously
yeah.
or consciously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So any advice you have to people that's dealing with that as a parent? I guess my advice to someone that was dealing with that as a parent would be to make sure that they're educated about the racial implications of what they're doing and what they're going to deal with if they do make those choices, right? And it's okay to me to tell them your opinion about it, but like anything else, you have to support some opinions, some decisions by your children that you don't always agree with. And you got to let them be a support to them through it, unless you see them harming themselves. If I see you harming yourself or you losing yourself, then I'm fighting. I'm fighting their parents. I'm gonna talk to all of it. I see you over there and the white dude talking crazy to you, and
you
they
letting it
got you
go?
always cleaning up at the cookout. You know what
I
I'm saying?
think
Like,
I think for me, for instance, I mean, if my son was dating, I wouldn't mistreat her by any means.
yeah.
No, ain't nobody
I would
doing
say,
that.
no, I'm just giving my little rundown. I wouldn't mistreat her by any means. But however, just like when he dated the sister, I said, hey, you not ready, you not equipped for this, and that would be the same type of conversation, by people mistreating you out in public, and every time you go around, you get looked at or your kids, etc. This may not go away for a long time. You thinking in 10, 15 years you'll get used to it. I don't think you ever get used to it.
Hey man, whether you like it or not, it's happening. When we talk about our parents integrating, what our grandparents dealt with, and then it was just black and white. Now it's black and white and Spanish. Everybody's it's gonna be a real melting pot whether you want to or not.
The new
You can't
people.
stop. Yeah.
No,
Yeah. And it's not
that's
like
happening, but people's opinion is still different too.
Yeah, that's gonna take time.
That's what I'm saying.
And
What'd you say?
He was saying that whether we like it or not, it's still occurring. We know that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
It's
that
inevitable.
people mistreat you still as well. And
Shit,
that's what
people mistreat us all the
Why,
time.
but
We
why
still
do
move
why
forward.
do many black men that end up marrying white women end up also disconnected from the black community and the family?
Because the way everybody treat his white wife.
And what happens
And
is
the way everybody treat his white wife.
It's like you
That-
not only did you get married, it's like they signing up
Hey.
to get married, and also, okay, I won't be in none of the cookouts.
but what
You know,
happens is the
why do we mistreat
I
them?
think
She ain't
I
comfortable.
think that's what I'm about to say. I believe the white wife is not comfortable because why would I come around this person look at me this way, that person, or I
'Cause you
feel
never
welcome.
sit to take time to learn how to make the potato salad. All you gotta
Potato salad or
do,
fried
like
chicken.
you gotta start. You gotta show you ready to learn how to do the stuff.
Or what about the guy? And I don't feel comfortable around all
Around
the white folks.
you think they gonna lynch you?
Hell yeah, depending on what part of the country you're in. For sure.
Time to play such and such. What team you gonna be on there, Caden?
Come on.
Oh, now that's one thing I did tell K-Moo is look, do not find yourself being the only black person with an outing and that sort of thing, bro.
Why
You better
not?
make sure because that's not safe.
Nah.
Brother, why you look at me like that?
Because I can't believe you asked.
You
such
would
a
be the only
preposterous
brother
thing.
amongst 30 women. Is that safe?
Yes, indeed. Not
Oh,
for them.
okay.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But no, I was like, no.
I
sir,
think too. Like we gotta make sure it's a fine line between talking to your kids about what's safe and passing down trauma. You know, we really got to
Right.
make sure we don't pass down our trauma when we talking about interracial dating. You know,
And how do you do that?
just by making sure what you're saying is really substantive and not based on a lot of fears. Because, you know, like I know, you know, for sometimes if my son, you know, gonna date a white lady, I'm gonna be concerned that when he's out with her, he could just get targeted for that reason. And somebody, oh, there they go, you know, some shit like that.
Bro, they can't even have a little spat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like
twist
as
cone.
a father, I worry about that. But I'm not gonna let that impact how I'm telling him to date or make a choice. You know what I mean? I understand that that's an element that's present all times if you choose to do that. And so that's just kind of something we just got to learn to live with.
And
You know, but I'm not going to let that impact on how I'm leaning in terms of who he should date or any of that.
We do that with other stuff though, Joaquin. Like
That's all, yeah.
we do that in other areas though. Like we'll take other areas and say, you know what? All I'm saying is I see how you moving and I get it. I know why you want to do it, but let me tell you, dealing and really back to Bill Barr, who's one of my favorite comedians right now. He
Yeah,
was
he
like,
awesome.
if somebody told you, he said he don't know why people getting married anymore, right? He said if somebody told you, hey, you
Bill
want to
Burr.
go jump out of this plane right here?
Yeah.
50% of the people that jump out die. He said you would never jump out of that plane. He was like, so why are people getting married? Somebody told you those odds. Like if you sign this deal, the biggest financial deal of your life, right? 50% of the people or more are not finishing this deal, and that business is dissolving. That partnership is dissolving. So I'm gonna take it to say, so you would say to your son, listen, man, if you're gonna do this, bro, you better make sure this the one. Like, you sure she not crazy? I saw her crying over there for no reason. Like, I mean, look. So my point is, as it becomes a race, there are a lot of very real things. There's their relationship. There's the children and what
It
the
may
children
be
are
religion.
going to deal with. It could be religion. That could be are their parents racist? Are they accepting of you too? And what is that going to look like? And what is it going to look like when you got to do that mandatory 2 weeks in the summer that they always do, but they racist? Like, it's a lot of real stuff that's beyond just our trauma.
You gotta go to the Outer Banks with these racist white folks.
Right.
Right.
And,
But
and Raekwon,
if you
and
choose,
Raekwon can't. Raekwon going down there, you can't go. He ain't Raekwon.
if you choose to marry into this type of family relationship and you know how they feeling, this is what's gonna come with it.
Right.
It's gonna be real problematic. Y'all gonna have some, you know, issues in the marriage. It's hard enough blending families when everybody the same culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's
And it's
just,
your choice. And so ultimately, what we're saying is, it's your choice. But I tell you what, you better think everybody all the factors.
But yeah, all he was saying though
and
was
if,
that
and
they
if
don't
you
let
choose,
the traumatic
you choose whatever
piece
you choose, I got
dictate.
you. But hey,
yeah. We the point is we good. Do your thing. Do your thing.
And you just speaking
That's what I
from
got.
experiences. Maybe not your personal, but just
Hey,
In
how
general.
long human beings been here on this earth?
I don't
Long
know.
time.
All right, so we all super traumatized from these past 400 years, like no other. You know what I mean? And so again, when you zoom out, it ain't no donkey with a dog or a cat with a rat. We all humans. You know what I mean? And so this is all an extension of that trauma and traumatic of what's been going on for the past 400 years in this country.
Yeah, there wasn't even no race 1,000 years ago.
But I will tell you this. If you do choose to date interracially and there's some racist stuff going on, do not expect me to be there. Because I will be telling everybody the truth about what's going on. No, I'm just saying, like, if I know it's a racist home we going to, and that person gonna say some racist joke, I'm not going.
Oh, don't expect me to go and be quiet.
Yeah, that's your stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be in the stuff that work for me when it comes to you and your relationship.
Right.
Because I'm not in that with you. I'm not gonna tolerate what you might be willing to tolerate.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
You
Good
might
message.
leave
Good
me at home.
message. Good message.
Leave you at home.
Yeah.
In the end.
So we
What?
can't bring them nowhere. He done
Hey,
told-
tell a joke.
Hey, look,
Nah, fuck like
you
that.
want Lil Corey the second to come over. You know what I
He
mean?
done called.
You gonna come on, Lil
He
Corey.
done called his granddaddy a grand wizard.
They call granddaddy grand wizard.
Y'all terrible.
Stupid.
We wrapping it
My
up.
pop said you was a grand wizard. That's why you don't come over here.
Y'all terrible.
You stupid. All right, man.
Hey, it's a B2M Crew talking about interracial dating, man. Live at the Code Building, not live at the Code Building, but broadcasting from the Code Building. Want to shout out a few businesses before we close. Of course, the Code Building here in Charlottesville hosting us in this wonderful facility on the downtown mall. We also got from the Tyreek Wynn collection. Check out Chill Talik Wynn's shirt over here, the podcaster design, and the Tyreek Wynn collection. Get your merchandise. How did they get that merchandise, Talik?
Tyreek will tell you? Nah.
Yep.
Nah, the Tyreek Wynn collection.
Yeah,
Go to
Tyreek Wynn
yeah.
collection. He's on IG. I do know that.
Yeah,
We have
for sure.
to post that up. And also we got the owner of Swift Transportation over here. Fact checking his dad over here on the podcast. CEO owner Darius over here. And also we got the Wynn Production Studios down in Fayetteville, Georgia, now providing services and media production to people in Atlanta, and they do travel if the price is right. So how do they contact Wynn Productions?
Y'all can contact us at 754-225-2805.
All right, Joaquin, you got something to take us out with, man?
As always, in the words of the great Frederick Douglass, it is easier to raise strong children than to repair broken men. Peace.
And I won't stop until I'm winning. I'ma show them how true and independent get it. Whole game changed by the time I finish with it. We about to get this business handled in a minute. And I won't stop until I'm winning. They don't want me in the office cause I